Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Pro League, which is the team competition in our Switch Sports Golf Discord server league. It's a whole lot of fun. This is actually a new season. I apologize for kind of cutting the last season a little bit short with the videos when I was not posting for about a month or so. Apologies for that. We actually finished in 4th place in that season, so we made the playoff as a wildcard team. And then lost to the #1 overall team, which ended up winning the whole thing, the Daggers. So congratulations to Ricardo, to Will, to Abe, and to Zen for winning the first new iteration of the Switch Sports Golf Pro League. And we've got a whole new season here, but I have pretty much the same team. So my team previously was me, the Zohan, Alex, and Leo. And we actually have Alex and Leo back, and Zohan became the captain of a brand new team. So actually, I had no chance of getting Zohan back, but we have Duncan, 1314, taking Zohan's spot. So welcome to Duncan. We're going to try to play well and try to put up a similar, if not better, performance in this season. Let's get this thing rolling. We've got an interesting look at hole 1 here. So I think what we'll have to do is go just a little bit above 3.5 dots of power and aim right at it with the 9-iron.
Nice shot.
So that feels like a decent shot. Oh, that's going to be, wait a minute, way short. Huh, that is strange. Fortunately, this is the hole to mess up. The chip is very straightforward, so left it short, didn't even come close to making it. Not a great start, but it happens. We'll send it up there and sink it for the birdie the hard way with the wedge. Just a birdie. If you don't make it, that's fine. We'll move on. So that one was a little bit baffling, but we see 2 eagles. So Kress and Nani played that one really well. Eagles for those 2, birdies for the other 3. Tough situation there. I didn't exactly know what the power needed to be. You know, I play local mode a decent amount, which is the offline version, where the tees are slightly further up. And that power has worked. I mean, I used a little bit more power because the tees are further back in, multiplayer mode. Definitely not the right shot. We've got 9 miles an hour pushing to the right. Also in the face. Let's see if we can hit a better shot this time around. We'll probably want to aim this one, I'd guess, to about there. We'll give it that much power and hopefully a good look. Yeah, call it a little bit less than 3.5 dots of power. That should hopefully be decent. Let's see if that gets a good little landing spot. That looks pretty okay. If that rolls back strongly, moves left. Oh, it's just not quite enough, is it? Very near miss, but it's just a tap-in birdie. 2 difficult ones to start, so often you want to see those nice wind conditions on the first 2 holes where, eagles and aces are pretty doable. We see maximum and second to maximum wind conditions on those 2. Not super difficult to handle in terms of birdies, but to try to get a good score, which is what we have to do in this pro league, The conditions are irrelevant. It all comes down to that raw score that you post, and not the best start for trying to, push that pace in the early going. We'll move on to hole 3, though. Plenty of golf left, plenty of opportunities, hopefully, to start putting up some points, some nice low scores. And here's the kind of condition that you kind of want to see. It's a difficult pin. A more difficult pin in terms of hole 3 in general. With wind. Without wind, it's not too bad. With wind, this one can get tricky. But we have the type of wind condition here where we can maybe put it on the green in 2 and putt for an eagle. It's going to be a longer putt. But hopefully we can putt this. If not, put it nice and close and get a good close chip here. But this is the kind of wind condition that you can take advantage of and try to put on the green and make an eagle a slightly easier way than usual. Let's give this a good fade underneath a tree. Got to keep this one low. Right about there should be decent. We'll hit that shot. That looks pretty perfect as long as it makes it under. Oh, and I catch the tree. What a tough break in the early going. Usually that sneaks under when you put that much fade on it. Must have just caught it. And now we have to really think about this one to make sure that we can put it up there safely somewhere in the area. The eagle is unlikely at this point, but we can still save the birdie as long as we play this right. It's an uphill shot. Got to keep that in mind. Don't want to leave this short. But let's see if we can just put this close and probably accept the birdie at this point. Yeah, that's just going to hopefully hold the green, maybe roll back a little bit. And that's fine. Just an unfortunate tree clip there. You know, you want to give yourself the best looks at eagles that you can. I thought my best look at the eagle, as we see that the chip is pretty difficult there, a couple close calls. I thought my best look at the eagle was going to be to put it on the green and putt it there, rather than taking the maybe safer, but, you know, less likely to actually make the eagle chip. Yeah, I don't think we see any eagles on hole 3, which is fairly rare. We have a 5-person lobby here, so not as many as usual. We can have up to 8 in this game mode. But 0 for 5 on hole 3 does not bode well for the scoring of this game. Yeah, so 3 holes, 3 birdies, and I messed up 2 of them, so not my best start. But I haven't made any, you know, real mistakes yet. We just have to try to pick and choose our opportunities as it gets more difficult for the rest of this 9. Maybe hole 4 can be nice. It's just not. Just tough wind conditions, the early going. Maximum winds, and now we see some yellow winds here, which is anything from 13 to 22 miles an hour, so moderate winds for hole 4, but it's just not very nice. It just is not the best. So we'll try our best, hopefully put one close, see if we can steal an ace, but the opportunities just haven't really been there in the early going of this round. That's the way it seems to go in this pro league. You know, it is, you know, very high level players who are playing in this thing, so you have to put up some good shots to have a chance. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully right about there is good aim. It's just tough to say with this kind of wind, but let's give it a run. We'll hit a decent looking shot out there. That looks pretty good if it gets a good little first bounce. Oh, it just sneaks around. Now, is that going to roll back okay? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, you want to see that one fall, but it's just a lot more difficult to get those shots to be super precise when you're dealing with all that wind. I did about the best I could, but the ball is not in the cup. It just counts as a birdie. Yeah, and we're through 4. The top 2 players made that nice eagle on 1 and are at 5 under, but it's just been tough in the early going when you want to see good eagle opportunities. Not much of a chance there on hole 4. Gave it a good run, wasn't quite enough, and it's just not getting better. Oh, tough wind on hole 5 as well, looks like. 11 miles an hour kind of in the face, just no help from the wind in the early going here. It's what you have to deal with seemingly all the time in this Super League, and it can always light up. You know, the back 9 can be better, hopefully it is, but the front 9, at the time when you want to take advantage of some eagle opportunities, just has not presented them. You know, it gets a lot more difficult on holes 6 through 9. And then, you know, the back 9 is kind of a bit of a restart, so gotta mentally reset at that point.
Nice shot.
But the opportunities on the front 9 are waning, and there just hasn't really been much yet. We can still give this a chip, though, on hole 5. It's a hole where you can sometimes reach the green if you get lucky, but if you get unlucky, you can be 40-something yards away, or even further. So we're kind of on the middle end of that there. Let's just try to hit a chip up there. Call it about there for the power. It's tough to say, but I think that's decent. We'll give it a run. Right about there is hopefully a decent aim point. Let's give it a little bit over 1.5 dots of power. Just try to send that up there on a good, decent line. And it's just another near miss. Just can't get anything to fall in the early going, and it's been difficult. Just have to tap in the birdies, keep moving on, keep trying to make the next shot. But just a little bit frustrating with the conditions to try to get some good scores up. You know, you want to be towards the mid-20s to be competitive in this league. And to be towards the mid-20s in these rounds, you have to make a couple eagles. You have to make about 4 hole-outs in the round. And yeah, we just see a whole bunch of close approaches, but it's just a really difficult shot to make from back there. So birdies all around, 6 under for the leaders, 5 under for everybody else. It's a tight leaderboard, but the scoring is just not great through the first 5 holes. A lot of wind, nothing less than 11 miles an hour, except for hole 2, which had some tough 9-mile-an-hour winds. And here's the tougher part of the front 9. Holes 6 through 9, often difficult, and we don't get a great look here. Yeah, 15 miles an hour. Not a terrible pin. You know, that one's not too bad. We can try to give this one a look with the tree strategy here. Just send it off to the trees. We are purposely clipping all these leaves and hopefully putting ourselves just in a spot where we have a line. And the purpose of this is to take that big tree that's now on the right more towards the green completely out of play. So we can aim somewhat in that direction and be completely safe of it. Let's give this one a good guess. We have to wait for the distance to come back up. I actually missed it. 197, so we probably have to put a little extra on this compared to the usual. Let's give this one a good guess. Probably about 2.8 or so dots of power. Should give this a good line. A good run at it, and hopefully, you know, if it's not super close, it's at least a pretty good look at a birdie. That looks pretty okay if that rolls. Oh, it kicks left at the very end. The fairway short of this pin is so variable. It really depends on the exact spot that you bounce on. If it continues in a good direction, or if it kicks off to the left like we saw it do there. And, you know, for 15 miles an hour on hole 6, which is, you know, often a very difficult hole, we're totally fine leaving that to about 6 feet or so and tapping it in. But it just isn't much of a chance at a make. We're just taking birdies in the early going. So 6 under for all of us. 7 under for the people who eagled hole 1 on a tough eagle. We got 3 holes left on the front to see if we can do something. Trying to shake the birdie golf here. And the wind is just relentless. Oh, there's just not a whole lot that you can do when you're dealing with this sort of thing. Just 26 miles an hour. It's just difficult. We'll just have to try to hit a good first shot, a decent second shot, and just try to make... This is a tough birdie. This is going to be a shot that we're going to have to play extremely carefully just to put anywhere near the pin. It's a back pin. There's not a lot of green behind it. The wind is pushing it in a direction where we're going to have to land it in a very moundy and hilly spot and just try to pin it close. 3 irons probably the move here. I think we'll want to aim this to roughly there. It's tough to say exactly. That's my guess. We'll give it a bit of spin with this 3 iron and hopefully just keep it on the green, keep it somewhere close, and move on to hole 8. Really difficult front 9 so far here. Not a whole lot to do about it. We could just send that up there, and that looks pretty good if it takes a nice big bounce and it just ends up a little bit short. I've put these difficult shots on some good lines. I mean, that one was right on the pin if it just had a little bit more power. Hole 4 had some really tough wind, and I lipped it out about 90 degrees. It hasn't been easy. Let's see if we can just sink the birdie and move on. I mean, that's a really difficult birdie that we kind of made a tap in. You know, you barely have to put it over that tree, try to land it in the perfect spot, just hold it on the green somewhere. We managed to do that. We'll see a couple other nice birdies here. Cress taps one in. My teammate Alex, who is playing birdie golf alongside me, has a fairly good line at the putt here. We see Nani tap in the birdie. Let's see if Alex can sink this one where he got a pretty good angle off to the left. That looks good, and he'll sink it. So tough hole 7. Most of us escape it there. We saw Nani put one really close there. That was nearly a hole out for the eagle through all that wind. You know, a little bit of backspin that actually gave it a chance. Mine pulled up short. And are we going to get a break in the wind? Doesn't look like it. Just doesn't look great. I mean, it's only, what is it, 2 miles an hour? It's a tough pin, though. This is a pin that is not the nicest. But we can give this a look with a strategy that I kind of like with the 7 iron and just take a little bit off of full power. And this is a look to just bounce it up there. Ooh, Anderson has made an ace. So Anderson parred the last one. I mean, it's a tough hole 7, and then comes back and makes the ace here. Let's see if we can try to match that. Got to take a touch of power off this one, carefully though. Definitely don't want to leave this short, then you risk, you know, water balling it or big trouble. That looks pretty good, but not great. So we'll leave it right on the pin. And this is a pin that is, you know, if you get any sort of tough wind, extremely, extremely difficult. We'll put it close. We'll have essentially a tap in. This is pretty much just straight up that little hill. Gotta aim it just to be safe. But we'll tap it in. A lot of birdies. A couple different approaches towards that one. Nani makes a nice putt from just over that mound. So as far as this pin goes, not too bad, but it's just another tap in birdie. And it's birdie golf for me, Alex, and Anderson. So Anderson comes back up to 8 under through 8. And the leaders are just 1 shot ahead. So it's a really, really, really tough scoring game here. At least on the front 9. Can we get any looks? What sort of wind do we have here? Is this helpful wind? It is. It's just enough to be helpful. 11 miles an hour means that we can probably get there in 2 if we play this right. Let's aim it out to there. Gotta give this a good angle to try to reach this green in 2, or, you know, reach the area of the green in 2. That should hopefully just clip the fairway, and it will. That's about the best shot I could hit to give myself a good chance to get it there in 2. 317 yards to go. We have to aim this just a touch out that way. Most definitely full power on this one, and the wind should push this to an area where we can hopefully, you know, get it there safely, carry all that water. That should push left. Now, is it going to carry everything? I have my doubts. We'll probably end up in the bunker, and we will, which is fine. I don't really think we could go left enough with those trees that were in the way at the very beginning to put that on a great line. But we have a look at a chip-in eagle here, which is fairly rare, and, you know, let's see if we can take advantage of it on this tougher little hole 9. Not the worst conditions for it today. Pretty doable. Let's see if we can try to sink one. Let's aim it out that way. Give it a good look about pin high with the power. You know, the wind is helping it. It's also uphill, though, so we have to keep both those things in mind and we'll sink it. Ooh, not the way I intended to go about it, but, you know, you can sink that eagle, rattle it home with the spin. It works. And just like that, after a really difficult front 9, we've managed to be better than birdie golf. We are at 10 under. And the back 9 usually presents some good scoring opportunities to push this round a little bit lower. You know, if we can do better than the standard 12 under, because there are 3 pretty eagleable par 5s. As we see a nice chip in from Nani. So Nani's going to stay in first place with a nice 11 under on that really difficult front 9. Alex has a look at it. He'll chip it around, rip it back, and it's just not quite enough. This is a difficult pin. So Nani and I will eagle that one. That'll push me along with Cress at 10 under. Nani's at 11 under. And Anderson and Alex are at 9 under. So that'll do it for the front 9. We now move on to the back where it kind of resets. I mean, holes 10, 11, and 12 typically present some better opportunities at made shots. Let's see if we can try to make a few here. 4 miles an hour is what we're dealing with on this hole 10. We probably just have to hit this a little bit less than, or a little bit more than 3.5 dots of power. Maybe about 3.5 dots of power, or slightly less should do it. Let's give it a look to about there. Hopefully that's pretty good. We'll give it about 3.4 dots of power. Now that I give it a good look, 3.4 feels about right. Let's see if we can try to sink one here on a tougher hole 10. You know, wind that's in a weird little diagonal direction. But let's see if we can bounce one home that looks decent. Oh, and I'll curl it all the way around. 360 lip in on hole 10. Not entirely sure I deserve that, but it falls. We'll give that another look. That didn't look like it was on the line, but it just catches the right edge. Gets yanked all the way around somehow and falls. Once again, inside the right edge, nearly a full 360 lip in on that hole 10. We see a bunch of close approaches. I mean, it's light wind, it's a doable pin, but it is a weird aim adjustment, and I've had a couple shots that didn't quite feel right with that sort of wind on hole 10, on that pin on hole 10. And that time around, I got it to work, so a little bit of learning from previous shots, and that'll push me to 12 under. So suddenly, after a struggle on the front 9, the pace is improving. We're at 12 under. And here comes hole 11. It's just difficult, though, so just hasn't been easy. This is a really tough pin on hole 11, and we have 9-mile-an-hour winds to go with it. Just not the best look at it. We'll have to give this a careful 3-iron, I think, and just try to keep it in the area of the pin. Maybe rattle it home. It's a difficult shot, but let's try it out. About 3.5 dots is what I want to give this. Just some light spin with the 3-iron. I'm trying not to yank this one back too much. Light spin, 3-iron. Right about there. That's the shot that I wanted. Is it the result that I want? That looks okay if it makes it all the way back, and it just barely won't. Oh, man. Such is life in the Shotgun Pro League. That's a couple of close calls. A couple nice makes, but a couple close calls. You just can't let that affect you too much. You have to move on. The tap-in of all tap-ins on a difficult pin, a difficult wind. I'm slowly getting that one down a little bit better, but it just wasn't quite there. There's a nice chip for my teammate to save the birdie. So as much as this is an individual game, we're also rooting for each other. So Alex, every stroke that he can save or gain absolutely helps the team. I nearly helped the team with a nice, that would have been my 3rd eagle in a row there, an inch away. 13 under through 11. All right, let's see what hole 12 has for us. Looks like it's some tailwind. So perhaps an interesting look here. at a pin that's kind of weird. Not my favorite pin here. I don't think this is anybody's favorite pin on hole 12, but it's one that we all have to play. Let's take a little bit off the drive and just make sure that we don't put that through the fairway or anything. We're not super concerned about the distance on this second shot. With this tailwind, the 3-iron can pretty much get there no matter what. Let's try to give this a good run. Just bounce it around the pin, try to rip it back. 3-iron's going to be the play. Let's give it, call it 3.8 or so dots of power with the spin on this 3-iron, just to land this left of it, rip it back. Let's see if that works.
Nice shot.
That feels like a good shot. Let's see where it ends up. That looks like it's going to take a nice little first bounce. Now that may be a little bit short to be a make. Yeah, and it just curls back. It'll end up fairly close. Gave it a good run, 9 feet away. Really tough pin to make. That one looks quite a bit better than mine. If that rolls back, that's going to fall. Who hit that one? That was Cress with a beautiful albatross on a very difficult hole 12. Fantastic shot. That was perfect the whole way. No doubt from Cress. Let's see if I can tap in this little eagle. So the back 9 presents better opportunities for eagles. So Cress is going to join me and Nani at 15 under through 12. It's a pretty good pace considering the front 9 that we saw. Anderson and Alex are going to be at 12 under, and we've got 6 holes left to play to see if we can push this pace a bit lower. Ooh, and this is a 0 win condition that I really need to get down. I don't quite have it. And it looks like, it feels like it happens so often. This front pin on hole 13. What is the proper landing spot and the rollback here with the 5-iron or even the 7-iron? Let's give it a guess. 1 square to the right is going to be my guess. We'll call it 3.1, maybe like 3.2 dots of power. Try to rip it back with a spin. Let's see. That's the shot I wanted. Is it the result? That looks like it's going to land a little bit too short, but we'll have to see. That's going to roll back maybe kind of nicely, and that will just miss. My goodness, I can't get any of these close calls to fall. With the exception of holes 9 and 10. You know, a percentage of them go in. I just didn't quite know that one. I mean, it was a pretty good guess for it being a guess, but just not quite in the cup. 0 wind is one that you really want to sink. It's one that a lot of people in this Pro League are going to sink. Is that another? Oh my goodness, Nani lips it out as well. So Cress is going to push to 17 under through 13. That'll be better than me and Nani by 1. And Anderson and Alex will make birdies to push to 13 under. So we'll have a couple, hopefully, opportunities. You never know with this final stretch. The wind can get more difficult. Often does as we go. We've got a good look at this one, though. 6 miles an hour is pretty light wind. We've got a decent look at trying to make this back pin albatross, or at least hopefully put it pretty close for the eagle. I think this is a decent initial aim point. We'll give it a little bit less than that, you know, yellow dot of power on the power meter. Right about there feels like a decent shot. Hopefully that pushes left just a little bit and not too much. That looks perfect. All right, we'll make it through that tree gap nicely. We saw a couple people get hung up in the trees, which on hole 14 is often such a big risk. So 4 out of 5 of us make it. Looks like Anderson unfortunately got caught up in the trees. Difficult with, you know, moderate winds. This is pushing moderate wind conditions. Oh, did someone make it? Alex has made it. My goodness, what a shot from Alex. And albatrosses are huge for that scoring pace. So absolutely massive albatross there. Let's see if I can try to match him. Let's see if I can send one close through that 6 mile an hour wind. That's the shot that I wanted. Now, is it going to be the result? That looks pretty okay, and that will... Oh, I cannot escape these ridiculous close calls. Oh, just smack it off the pin, and that's about the 3rd or 4th one that looked like it was about perfect. A lot of speed. A lot of speed on that. That's about what I'll leave it at. We'll tap in an eagle, but Alex will push to 16 under, so 3 strokes in 1 hole is absolutely huge for the scoring pace. I'll move to 18 under. We'll see a bunch of nice eagles. So Cress will be at 19 under. That's a good pace through 14. Let's see what these final 4 holes have in store. They can be opportunities. They can be really difficult. It just depends on the situation that you get. And this looks pretty decent here, actually, on hole 15 to maybe be a look. It's one of those ones that's undeniably a pretty difficult look, but it is a halfway decent look at the eagle. Being in the rough here is kind of fine. I think we want to go 3-iron anyway. That was going to be the plan the whole time. Ooh, can we get enough on this? I left this on the shorter side. I don't think we want to go spoon, because the spoon launches quite often. Do we want to try it, or do we want to just be safe and probably leave this on the short side? I don't know. Let's be safe. No need to push it here. We're doing pretty okay. If we launch, it's just a no good reason miss.
Nice approach.
Another one! Granted, it's not the perfect way to go about it. But I just keep smacking cups and hitting flags and popping to a foot. And not even. Half a foot on a lot of these. If that caught the back lip and fell, it would have been pretty darn lucky. But that's about the 4th one now that has hit the cup and not dropped. Man, oh man, what this round could have been. It's not bad, but it's just not fantastic. 19 under through 15 is... It's fine. It's pretty good, but it's not just... It doesn't feel right compared to the number of times that we've been right on it. Just haven't gotten those nice looks, that nice drop that you need a couple of times to get that really nice score. We have a good tee position here for this light wind hole 16. A pretty good look at trying to make an eagle here. It's not the easiest chip. This one is pretty touchy, but hopefully we can just put it to a decent distance, you know, bounce it around the pin, roll it back, and hopefully pick up an eagle here. Just have to hit this about 1.5 of power with a tiny bit of spin. That usually does it. We'll aim it to about there in the hopes that just kicks just a little bit left, rolls back nicely to the left, right about there. Now it's an uphill shot, so aiming about pin high should land this just short of pin high. That's the goal. We'll aim it to there. We'll give it a run. Let's see. Got to make sure we get that adjustment point right. That's absolutely huge for these little chips. There's the shot on its... If that lands an inch further, that just catches the, you know, perfect little flat spot, rolls back lightly in. It rolls really, really lightly, so you have to cut it super close. But man, this round has just not allowed shots to fall. It wasn't my best look at hole 16. Alex will make a nice eagle there. Gotta make that, but like, how close can you be that many times without getting makes? So Alex is making his way back to a nice pace here. 19 under through 16. Just about catching up to me and Nani. We've had struggles with trying to make holeouts. A lot of really close calls. 13, 14, 15, and 16 all either hit the cup or were an inch from it. We've got a decent looking... Actually, this is a condition that I know. I have made this shot, this exact shot, in local mode in my Eagles challenge. Let's see if we can replicate it. That's where I aimed. We're a little further back with the tees, so I aimed it just a touch more left, but this should hopefully put it right up around the cup. And, you know, hopefully the distance doesn't cause like a launch or something, but I know this one because of that round. That's going to take a big bounce. Oh, and it's so much further right than it was in local mode. So that's about the best you can do. If you leave it anything less than full power, you probably launch that off the back of the green. That launch roll that happens in this game. So tough on hole 17 a lot of the time. Let's just send a good putt up there. Hopefully sink it. Hopefully be... No, that's going to miss right. Oh, after all of the close calls and all of the tough conditions that we saw, just a slightly difficult hole 17. Really difficult to read this green. This round has just been frustration after frustration. Just can't get anything to go right, and it's been so close to going right the entire time. Oh man, a flag hit there from Cress. And just a lot of not... It's really tough to put this one close with this sort of wind. I thought I knew it. I mean, that was the aim that I made. I can go back and check that video, but I'm very familiar with how I aimed that 24-mile-an-hour wind. And there's a nice putt from Alex, who now catches back up to me and Nani. I believe Nani tapped in a par. My apologies if that ended up being a birdie. But yeah, Alex has had a fantastic back nine, and he'll now join me and Nani at 20 under. And 20 under after the round and all the close calls just doesn't feel very nice. I mean, just difficult conditions, close call after close call, and just hole 17 presenting a not very nice condition. And here it is, just again, 11 miles an hour on hole 18, just not nice. Just a difficult look here to try to make an albatross.
Nice shot.
And, you know, the eagle's a little bit in jeopardy when you see this kind of wind on 18. That looks like it's on a good line to hopefully put this one close. But when you have to go to this right island, you start dealing with the chances of launching and, you know, getting shots that just feel undeserved based on the shot that you hit. We'll have to give this a run. Maybe I'll try to leave it a little bit short on the driver. Let's aim it to about there, a little less than full power. Can't take too much off of it, but just a little bit should be okay. To hopefully land this short in the rough or just lightly in the fairway and just bounce it up there. Let's give this a look. You never know.
Nice.
That feels like a good shot. That's the shot that I wanted to hit. And that's going to be on a decent line, but it's a little too far, and it launches. Oh, it just catches the flat spot. If that catches an upslope, it bounces nicely to a stop, but I just could not get anything to go right this round. And as it seemingly so often is the case in the Pro League, it just ends in the most poetic way. Like, the way that the round has been going is the way that the round continues at the end. Just tough looks. And I mean, I hit a good shot there. It just launches. That is the launch roll that happens in this game. It's so difficult to try to control sometimes when you're hitting those really long shots. Try to keep it on the green, which is going to be a little difficult. That looks pretty okay, but it's not a make. It just moves a little bit left if you miss that mound. And after that round, with all the close calls, the nice makes on 9 and 10, and then just, you know, a really tough first part of that front nine, and then all those close calls on the back, we're going to end at 21 under par, which is not a bad score. I mean, being in the 20s is totally fine, but that just does not feel like the round that should have been. Alex will make a nice eagle there, so Alex is going to push ahead to 22 under, and after an absolute round to forget, oh man, Cress looks like launched as well. I assume that's the way they end up birdieing that one. 22s for Cress, Alex, and Nani. Let me make sure I get that screenshot for the records. And I'll be at 21 under. Anderson is at 18 under. We are back with game 2. And a mental reset here after a hole 1 that felt like it had some particularly bad luck. I feel like I say that so often in this Pro League, but that one felt pretty ridiculous. We gained Game Night, so we have a 6-person lobby here. Thanks to Game Night for joining us for game 2. And it's a whole new 18, a whole new round, and another strong wind condition, it looks like. My goodness. 11 miles an hour again on hole 1. Just a little absurd, but nothing you can do. Just got to play it. The chances of getting 11 miles an hour twice in a row are 1 in 36. 6 times 6, there are 6 possible wind conditions. But it just feels like those extremely unlikely odds of seeing bad things happens at a routine pace here in the Pro League. Anyway, it's a shot that we can make. I don't want to complain about it before I actually miss it, so let's see if we can make it. You never know. We'll aim it out to there. I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. 11 miles an hour. Diagonal. Gotta call it maybe 3.25, 3¼ dots of power on this little 7-iron here. We'll give it a run. We'll give it a look. You never know. If we can sink a couple in the early going, that would feel very good. That one's going to be on a good but not great line, and if I left it where I kind of initially thought I needed to, that would have made it. I was initially thinking 4.5 yards to the right. I pushed it to 5 because I thought the bounce might go a little bit left, and then it ends up right where I initially thought. So that's the kind of thing that doesn't bode well when you're second-guessing yourself and it doesn't quite work. Tough condition, as always, and it's birdies all around. We'll move on to hole 2. If we could just get some nicer hole 1s sometimes, and oh my goodness, look at this hole 2. Impossible. Not impossible, but really, really tough back right pin, and just wind like this again. It just is a little unrelenting sometimes in this Pro League. Ah, that's the way it goes. Let's see if we can rattle one home. It's going to take a tough little shot here to try to make this one. Probably about that much power. Rattle it up there. Just a guess. Oh, that's not going to push right enough. Oh, that's way too... Wait a minute. Way too far. My goodness. Please hold the green. Oh, it's on the fringe. That's... Oh, just not good for the conditions on the first two holes. Can we ever get some good conditions in this Pro League? Hasn't happened in the early going here. Just tap a putt down there. Take a tough birdie. And move on. And it's birdies all around once again. Just... very difficult first two holes. Not much you can do. We'll move on. And what is this? Just, is this like maximum headwind or gonna be maximum headwind? It's just, there's just no reason for this. I mean, it's RNG. It is random number generation. And it feels like it just gives you, in this Pro League, the worst possible outcome every time.
Nice shot.
9 miles an hour makes for a really difficult, but I mean, it's doable. We'll hit the shots. We'll give it the best look we can. It's just so often a nice look at an eagle on hole 3. And this is going to be a long shot that we're going to have to deal with some wind on. It's headwind as it goes around this dog leg.
Nice shot.
We're not going to be able to put it close at all. We just have to try to get lucky with the spin that we're going to have to rip back here. 41 yards, which is 1 yard too far away to be able to get that good aim. Like, if you try to zoom, it doesn't do anything. You have to use the big zoom. The Switch accessibility zoom. So anyway, we'll give that a shot. And you know what? Let's go for the big rip. I like going for the big rip in these types of looks, because it puts it close. It's a really tough make if you know, try to give it a more standard shot. Let's give it the big rip and see if that works. Just put it way long. And here comes the big rip. That'll send it back and sink it. Lovely. All right, we made one. Let's see if Alex can sink it. That's on a good line. Oh my goodness. And it's just, if you land it by the cup, like it can be a make, it just bites so hard when you have to hit it upwind and with all that power. So the rip is maybe not the best overall strategy, but it just hits the cup at a slower speed if you can give it a good guess as to where it's going to end up. It's less predictable on where it ends up, but it has a better speed when it gets there. It's a fun strategy. It's style points. We'll leave it at that. 4 under through 3. Not easy, but at least we're better than birdie golf. Let's see if it gets easier. All right, what does hole 4 for us, or have for us this time? Just 13 miles an hour. Probably the most difficult pin on the green. I'm just tired of complaining, but I just can't stop when you see the worst pin and just tough wins over and over. I mean, if it's, you know, stronger wind but a better pin, there are plenty of good looks with 13 miles an hour. It's just not the best direction. Really, really risky shot to try to hit through this wind. And a pin that's so, so tough. Let's give this the best look we can with the 3-iron. Probably about 3.8 or so dots of power. Not 8, 3.7 is what I'll call it. 3.7, final number.
Nice shot.
That feels decent if that takes a good little landing spot and it smacks the pin.
Nice.
Did that save me from a fringe shot? I don't know. It bounces really high and there is a decent amount of green behind it, and I mean, this is not an easy putt anyway. I don't know if that saved me from a much tougher putt, or if that would have ended up okay, or even being a make if it just sneaks around. I don't know. We'll try to sink this. It's just a little tough little putt here. See if we can sink it. All right, we sink it. Gave it a good run. Really tough condition. Nearly pulled it off. Ended up almost in a bad spot, but we make the birdie. Hole 4 is often such a nice look at an ace if you can get the right pin. It's like a 3 in 6 chance, so 1 in 2 times, half the time, you get a good look at it, almost regardless of the wind. Obviously, nice wind helps, but that's just a tough pin, risky pin. And here's a decent look. Okay, a decent look at hole 5 here. 15 miles an hour pushing ahead. Let's try to give this a good drive, safe of those trees, and hopefully put this one in a spot where we can reach this green in 2. Now that should carry everything. It may visually clip through the last little part of it, but you do have to put it considerably in that big tree for it to actually knock it down at all. So no actual tree hit there. We have about the best look we can ask for heading into the green. Now let's just try to put this one up there as close as we can and see if we can steal an eagle. So we got some helping wind. Full drive is the way to go. Now that should take a couple bounces and hopefully end up on the green. It will. And now it's not an easy putt from here. It's 33 feet out. It's a bit of a double breaker maybe, but let's see if we can sink one. Putts for eagles are always preferable, in my opinion, when you're on the green over the alternative, chipping. I mean, chipping is sometimes fine, but in this case, when it's a relatively straight putt, I kind of like the idea of sending a putt up there, giving it the look that way. Now this should move a little right at the start and then back to the left. Got to give it plenty of power. Now that should move back left, and I've left it an inch short from 30 feet all the way up that hill. The shots they just don't want to fall in this Pro League so far. An opportunity missed. It was a tough putt. Kress sinks it. Nice putt from Kress. He ended up a little bit closer, so a nicer drive, you know, a more efficient drive on cutting down that angle. And Kress ends up in a spot where he hit probably like a 20-25 foot putt, I would guess. Just a little bit closer. And I just ended up a little bit too far away. Didn't quite put the power on it. Alex is going to chip in. All right, a chip in from Alex to push him, I believe, on my pace at 6 under through 5 here, and that one was doable. I mean, I missed a putt, but Alex and Kress make it in 2 different ways, and they will join me at 6 under, along with Anderson. Anderson is at 6 under as well, and here comes that tough stretch of the front 9 where you're often, maybe with the exception of hole 9, just trying to pick up birdies and move on to the back. Now, here's another halfway decent look. It's a tough pin, and let's see. Yeah, it's just a kind of tough one to get all the way down there using the tree strategy, but you can put it close. And that's really what I want to do here. This is just a risk mitigation strategy to take all the trees out of play. Probably not going to make it. It's a really, really tough make. We're 194 yards out. We'll still take the spoon, though. We'll still give it a good rollout. And we'll see if we can put it in a spot where we can maybe give it a chance. You never know. We'll give it that much power. Plenty of rollout. Now, hopefully that just clips a spot where it makes it safely down there. That looks pretty decent. Now, is it going to roll all the way out? Not quite, and I kind of knew that. It had a good line. That'll be a fine putt for the birdie. And if you hit that much further, you start getting those weird kicks like we saw in the first game where, you know, towards the green, the kicks get sideways. That one ended up being totally fine. Just a tap-in birdie. We'll move on past a hole 6 where if you don't get those, you know, right pins or that front left pin, that, you know, pin that's more so on the front left side, it's just a tough, tough eagle. There are a bunch of nice birdies falling. Looks like it's birdies all around here. And hole 6, a lot of birdies. Not the most difficult condition, but a really difficult eagle. And 7 under for 4 of us through 6. Tough scoring on the front 9 in this one as well. We'll move on to hole 7. Looks a little bit better this time around than it has in the past. Let's see what kind of wind we're actually dealing with. 17 miles an hour, which is not too bad. We can use the spoon, which is nice to be able to go, you know, up and over that left tree. So when the wind is pushing to the right on hole 7, it's kind of fine. That left tree is smaller. We'll give it a little bit more distance. That nice little hook shot works pretty well to give you the line 200 yards out. And we may have to carry it to the green here with this wind condition just to make sure that we can get it to the cup. We'll give it a good run. We'll try our best. We'll probably aim it to about there, I want to say. We'll give it the best guess that we can for where this needs to land. Maybe a little bit more than 3 dots of power. Game Night has made it. My goodness, what a shot from Game Night. Was that for the eagle? It was. 17 miles an hour. Not the easiest pin to make this one on. I'll send my shot on its way. That should at least be safe. Now, if it clips a good little landing spot, it's not going to get the rollout, actually. It was on a good line once again. But when you're dealing with wind in the face and when it's, 17 miles an hour, you just can't land it in the rough and get it all the way there. It's a safe shot. It's a good look. If you land it on the green, you pretty much have to, one bounce it or rattle it in. I'd like to see how Game Night made that one. That was a very, very good shot on a tough condition to make the eagle. My goal there was to put it close, give it a chance, and ended up with a tap-in birdie. There's a birdie from Alex as well, so it looks like it's birdies all around, other than Game Night, who now joins the group at 8 under through 7. So one by one, the group is joining up. I think Nani's next. Let's see what hole 8 has for us this time around. Ah, this pin again? It's inescapable. I feel like... Oh no, it's the middle pin. False alarm. Never mind. Not too bad. Not the best, but could be worse. How do we want to handle this little middle pin here? Let's go about 2 squares right. That much power, and just try to rip it back. Let's see. Saying rip it back on hole 8 with all that slope is so scary, but I think it's what we have to do. We'll give that a good little line. That's going to rip back and just miss on the left side. So, a good run. It's a tough little 8-foot side hill putt here. But I mean, with 24-mile-an-hour winds, to put it pretty close, can't ask for a whole lot more. We'll see a couple other close calls. Are we going to see any makes? That one looks like it was just a little bit short on the rollback. So, good runs at it, but no makes on a tougher little hole 8. Hopefully we can just sneak that birdie in there. We will. And we'll end up... Oh no! Oh, Game Night! Put it to about 5 feet. And this part of the green is just a little bit slopey. Oh, and you end up with those tough looks sometimes. With light wind conditions, this is probably the best ace look with the iron on the green, which is the way that I like to go about it. But it's a tough one to putt to if you end up just a little bit off. That's such a slopey green. That's the reason it's in the challenging section of the 9, which is the final 3 holes. So we'll see 2 pars there. I'll be at 9 under, so birdies are fine, but would like to see some looks at eagles here and there. What kind of condition are we looking at here on hole 9? 0 wind. Pin that's not too bad. I mean, as far as hole 9 goes, 0 wind. Not exactly helpful because you can't reach the green in 2, so the helpful wind is the one that's pushing you forward. But 0 wind is something that you can't really ever complain about. You can just kind of play it. And if you know the shot, which I'm hopefully getting there. I feel like I had this one yesterday. And I'm going to try to hit the shot that I hit again and maybe try to get it to fall. Just try to replicate the first 2 shots I hit last time. This is a recent memory pin and 0 wind condition where I think I had to go a little bit more than 1.5 square, or 1 square to the right. So right about there. Feels about right. I'm going to club up. We'll use the 5-iron and try to just land this like on the shorter side of the green and bounce it up there. So call it like 2.6 or so dots of power. That looks about right. Maybe a little bit more. And just try to put this one up there, tuck it close, and if not, maybe try to get it to rattle in. That feels like a pretty decent shot if it gets a good little bounce and a roll out. Oh, and I left it on the short side. That was on the line, I think, if I hit that a little bit harder. It's just a scary one. If you end up too long, you end up with a putt that is a lot meaner than this one is. So, difficult 0 wind condition. We haven't seen any easy 0 wind conditions, in my opinion, or in my experience with this game. That one's always a tough one. Put it safe, put it close. We'll move on. Ooh, Alex had a really close call there. That was inches from a make. So we'll see birdies for 5 of the 6 and a tough bogey there. I mean, that green is so slopey and very, very difficult if you have tough angles and tough chips and stuff. But it's a pretty decent pace. I mean, 10 under I feel like is where I'm pretty much always at on the front 9. It's just so difficult to score on for some reason in this pro league. That's the way it's been. That's the way it's continuing to go. Let's move to the back. Tough wind here on hole 10. 9 miles an hour. I think we'll have to aim this a pretty predictable distance out to the left. Hopefully about 4 yards left with this level 4, which is 9 miles an hour, is 4 meters per second. That's how the actual coding of the game works. Let's see if that's good. Let's see if we can put that somewhere in the area of the cup with this 9-iron. We'll call it that much power, about 3.2 or so with this wind condition, hopefully. We're hitting this quite uphill, so we have to keep that in mind. Let's go about like 3.25 or 3.3 just to make sure that we get this there. Don't want to overhit it, but let's see. Right about there feels like a decent shot. Oh, that's way too far left. Not even close to the proper adjustment. Gotta cut it down 1 yard when you're a little bit closer like that. Not the most familiar wind condition. Couldn't quite think through correctly how that needed to be. It's a tap-in birdie on a hole that you really want to make eagles on when, and you know, you're hoping for good wind conditions to make that happen. Good pin spots as well. So we're just limping along here, just one ahead of birdie golf. So we had a nice eagle on 3, and that's been it so far. Let's see if the back 9 can present itself with a couple of opportunities, maybe to push towards the kind of score that we're really looking to make in these pro leagues, those little mid-20 or better rounds. And this just isn't it. Just 9 miles an hour is just not very nice. This is a pin that's also on the more difficult side. Just not getting the looks so far. Let's try to give this one a run with the 5-iron. You never know. We can maybe try to sink it, but it's just not an easy one. Let's see. It feels like a halfway decent shot. Let's see where it ends up. That's a decent landing spot. Is it going to make it all the way back down, though? It will, and that looks really good. Hey, it falls. All right, tough wind condition, but it ends up in the cup. Every once in a while, you get a little bit lucky with that type of thing. You know, it's a little bit tougher, but you get the guess right, and you end up in the cup, and you know, the pace has not been great so far, so it would have been nice to have that be like the continuation of a good round, but hopefully we can get it going a little bit. So that'll push me to 13 under through 11. If we can get a couple more going on the back, so we haven't hit those back 9 par 5s yet, and those are often, you know, hopefully good looks at eagles. The wind is unrelenting, though. Just 9 miles an hour over and over and over in tough directions in this game. Gotta deal with it. Always have to deal with that kind of thing, seemingly, in the Pro League. You can never get those, you know, couple of 2 miles an hour type looks. It's a tough little one here. 9 miles an hour, pushing right. Back pin. Gotta hit this with the right power. We'll try this one to about there. It's a guess. Hopefully it's a decent guess to at least put this close for the eagle. If not, give it a run at the albatross. You never know. Let's give it a look. Just a little bit more power with that little bit of extra wind, and that's going to land too far. Hopefully it ends up okay. Oh, that's going to end up off the back of the green. We're going to be putting for a tough little eagle look here. Got to try to send this one up there. This is a one that you definitely want to make, and we'll make it. Okay, save the eagle. The looks have not been the easiest. My shots have not been the best either, but we'll take the eagle. We'll move on. And that'll be 15 under through 12. So a pace that I'm not exactly satisfied with, but the round is not over. Plenty of golf to play. We'll see if we can improve upon it. Hole 13. What kind of wind are we going to have this time around? Doesn't look too bad. Let's see. 6 miles an hour. Not terrible. Could be worse. Let's try to give this a good look with the spoon. Call it just a little bit more power than usual, so just a little bit above the middle of that second dot is going to be my aim point in terms of the power. I think my aim point on the green is pretty good. We'll just give it a guess, give it a run. Oh, that's hopefully enough to carry and enough to make it all the way up there. I don't think it's enough to make it all the way up there, but left it a little on the short side in terms of the power that I wanted. It's so touchy, though. It's just like a pixel off, and that makes that little yard difference. Don't know if it was on the greatest of lines. Oh, is that a make? There's a hole-in-one from Cress, and a very nice one. 6 miles an hour maybe bodes better for that little iron strategy. We saw that roll back, which you cannot do with the spoon. So Cress uses the iron to make the hole-in-one. In my opinion, a tougher iron shot than a spoon shot. But if you can sink it, you get the ace, and that's what Cress did. So Cress will move into a tie with me at 16 under through 13. And it's a tight leaderboard, and we have 5 holes left now to try to push this round somewhere into the 20s. Hole 4 is looking just fine. This is a pretty good look at hole 4. There's the kind of 2-mile-an-hour wind condition. Those nice ones that you really want to see. Let's see if we could take advantage of it. Just have to hit this with about that much power, I think. Put it through those trees. That looks pretty good. That should move just a touch to the right. Get over the top of everything and underneath that big tree towards the end of that gap. And everybody ends up nicely in about the same spot in the fairway here. 160 yards. Not a whole lot of crosswind at all here. We just have a tiny, tiny bit of wind to deal with. This is a good-looking pin. I like the shot into this pin with this kind of wind. Just have to hit it with like 3.4 or so dots of power. Give it a decent look. And maybe we can make the albatross here and get this round on a nice pace. There's the shot that I wanted. Oh, it's going to land short. Take a big kick, a little rollback, and it's just not quite enough. Oh, I left that one on the short side weirdly. I thought that was a pretty good power. And it almost found its way into the cup, but not quite the shot that I wanted. Just off with the power. We've got a little 15-foot thinker here. This one is one that's going to not move a ton. I want to hit this up the hill with a good amount of power. There it is. All right, there's the eagle. Not the easiest putts for eagles on 12 and 14. A good look at a make with 2 miles an hour, but just couldn't pull it off. Alex may have clipped the flag if he, ending up over there is a bit unusual, or lipped out or something. So definitely a lot of close calls there on that hole 14, but no makes, just a lot of eagles on that scorecard, eagles all around. So I'll push to 18 under through 14. And here comes that really crucial stretch towards the end that can really make or break your round. 15 through 18. There are 4 holes, just like any other in this game in terms of scoring. I mean, you can always make shots, but the conditions are huge at this part of the round. If you can get good conditions and good looks at eagles and stuff, you can put yourself on a great pace. 4 miles an hour is a fine look here. Let's see, can we hold the fairway? If not, it's also kind of totally fine. I was going to probably club up and try to glide one in anyway. Yeah, let's go 5-iron, try to glide one up there and in. Right about to there. Should be decent looking. We'll try to give this pin high power a nice little glide. And see if we can put this up by the pin. All right. Let's see. That feels like a halfway decent shot. That's going to take a little kick, a roll. I can't get anything to fall. They're right on it. They're right on it. I just got ripped back by the spin, just a little bit underpowered. There's a nice shot. That's going to fall. Beautiful shot there from Cress, who has had a fantastic back nine. So we saw a very nice back nine from Alex in the first game. Cress has been on it on the back nine this time around. And I just keep putting them right on the cup, and they just don't want to fall, and I keep tapping in birdies. There's a nice one from Nani, who ended up just a little bit past the pin. So Cress is going to move to 20 under through 15, 1 shot better than me. So he was 1 shot back for quite a ways, and now after a nice hole 13 and 15, he'll move into the overall lead. 19 under through 15, 3 holes to play. Let's see if we can get some good looks. This is just light wind again, same type of pin. I don't have the angle to try to put this on the green. I think I have to go for the bunker here, kind of regardless of the what feels like the right play. Unless this is the wind where we can like bounce it just short and put it up and over. Maybe. Is that enough? No, it's just not quite. So we're 19 yards back. I mean, we have to just try to hit that same shot again, but just try to do it a little bit better. Not a whole lot to it. Just have to try to make it this time. Game Night has made it for the eagle. Anderson has made it for the eagle. Can I try to match that? With an eagle of my own. Just have to try to spin this lightly back and in. A little bit less than pin high power. Little uphill. Nice little bounce. Little roll back. And we'll sink it. Whew, barely. So as I alluded to, in the first game that has really light spin when it comes back. It does not zip back. Alex will make it as well. Is that an eagle from Cress? That one looks real good. Cress will sink it. So a whole bunch of eagles here. Nani may have gotten pin hit or something like that, but it's a whole bunch of eagles on a hole that when it presents an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it to try to get a good score in this game. So wow, 5 out of 6 eagles. That'll push the pace. 1 shot lower overall, which is always nice in this pro league. 21 under for me, 22 under for Cress. We've got 20s for Anderson and Alex as well. Here comes that crucial stretch. And it looks like it's tough wind, but maybe a slightly nicer direction for trying to, you know, put it close and just escape with a birdie on hole 17. Let's go spoon here and just try to put this somewhere towards the back of that green. Spoon's the play. We'll go roughly full power with the spoon, maybe a little bit less, and just hopefully bounce. Oh no, be okay. Be okay. Launch. Now hold the green. Barely. Not the best angle. A little bit off with the aim, but that one could have gotten you in serious trouble if you ended up launching all the way off the back like it looks like we saw a couple people do there. So a tough one on 17. This one looks like it's going to move a little right at the start and then maybe slightly left and then back to the right. So a weird little triple breaker that may end up just like kind of canceling itself out. Hopefully. Yeah, move left. We'll sink it. Big birdie there. That's a huge stroke to keep, you know, the pace going lower on the scorecard. Cress with a very nice approach through all that wind will tap in a birdie. And here come a couple of chips from off the back of the green. If you get a tough launch, we'll see a nice chip in from Nani. Fantastic chip there. That's a lot of wind and a lot of distance to deal with that wind to try to make that birdie happen. That one looks... oh, it's just going to miss on the right side. So I'll move to 22 under. I'll be 1 back of Cress, who's got a great round going at 23 under through 17. Not a whole lot of opportunities, but the back 9 hasn't been too bad. Couple of good looks. I haven't really gotten shots to fall in a big way, but it's been enough to make it decent. And we just can't get a good look at hole 18, can we? It just never wants to be the 50-50 chance of being... or more than 50-50. It's probably like 65-35 chance of being left island type wind. And this just isn't it. This just isn't the proper wind to give it a good look. Just a little frustrating here that we keep seeing this.
Nice shot.
Ugh. Oh, just take a little kick right. Be enough. Be enough to make it up and over and out of the rough. We're okay. Cut it really close. That's actually probably going to end up being about perfect, but... oh, just scary, scary looks all the time. Do we want to go spoon or driver here? This is one where the launch is a little bit less scary. It's kind of just, you know, okay. Let's go driver. Less power than last time, just to try to put this up there, you know, somewhere in the area. That looks pretty decent.
Nice shot.
Hopefully that's a good enough shot to make it up and over. Just maybe clip the rough. That's going to launch. Hopefully not too far. Oh, that's going to launch. No, not all the way off the back. Oh, man. I just cannot get these rounds to finish right. It's just tough. It's just so tough over and over. This one is just not very nice, and there's no getting around that. Let's see if we can pull it off. Come on, be good. All right, we'll make it. Did Alex just make that as well? I think he did. Very nice. So Alex makes the chip for the eagle. That's huge for the team. Huge for my round. I believe that pushes me to 24 under. And after a struggle through the conditions and a whole lot of close calls, I mean, we'll take a 24 under. Cress with a tough launch there. I mean, that was a... you know, you come into 18 just hoping for the eagle. And when you end up with the birdie, it's a little disheartening, and it's just a tough condition there with that launch. But a pretty good round overall. 24 under is nothing to complain about. Pretty good first week. Tough games, but one good score. We take the best 3 out of 8, so as long as we can put one up and just hope for some better conditions in the future weeks, maybe 1 or 2 more rounds where we can get some good looks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this Pro League. I'm hoping that our team is going to have a real good opportunity. I really, really like that I've gotten Alex and Leo back, and Duncan's going to be a great addition to the team as well. So hopefully you enjoyed watching me struggle a little bit through there, but we ended up with a good round, and we'll be back next week with, you know, 2 more 18s and hoping for some good scores.